Morning, gang. It's Friday, the 21st of February 2020. Welcome along to this morning's United Kingdom talk. I don't think it was. Just a minute. What have I done there? Good morning. It's. Well, I mean, I've got the cameras. I might as well blooming use them. Sorry, an incorrect button push this morning. I do hope that's not how the show will carry on this morning. There we are. Good morning to you. It's Friday, the 21st of February 2020. Welcome along to this morning's United Kingdom talk, coming to you from this plush, purpose-built television centre here in the heart of Berkshire, in the rolling countryside of the United Kingdom. Welcome along to the show, boys and girls. I don't know if it's a little bit chilly or not this morning. Oh, I woke up at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, and I thought, oh, why have I woken up? And I can't go back to sleep again. I'm sleeping less and less at night. I don't know why that is. It's not that I went to bed particularly early last night. It was about 1:15, something like that in the morning after we finished our show last night. I watched another episode of Anne with an E, which I very much like on the Netflix. And also a programme that was on BBC One Colour called The Split, which looks like some sort of divorce drama going on there, and someone's a lawyer, and one's a television personality who looks like she's a bit scared of someone, so she's going to try and leave him, and prenuptial agreements and all this business. So I was quite into that last night. Looks quite good, actually. That's The Split, which is on BBC One Colour, and of course the BBC iPlayer. If you were with the show last night, thank you very much. We had a lovely time last night. Good chat to some of you. Some of you were very, very saucy on that telephone last night, and with your messages as well. Please, I mean, we'd get away with it at night, I think, but not do it in the morning. Please be a little bit less saucy. Some of those phone calls, they were saucy. They weren't quite over the line. They weren't. There is a line that I don't like to cross. You know, the last thing I'd want to do is offend someone, unless, of course, they're a bit mouthy, in which I'll go all for it. If you're a bit mouthy, I'll go for it. But I don't really want to offend anyone, or anyone to be offended for what someone else is saying. So, you know what I mean? So keep it saucy. Saucy is fine. Carry on humour. Anything above that, no. Last night was very, very close to the mark, including one from a radio man himself, Mr. Dave Moses. I think that was the sauciest call on there. Dear me, honestly, some of the things he was saying last night, can't believe it. But I think we got away with that last night. All right. Unfortunately, something went wrong literally just before I started giving out the raffle tickets last night. So just to let you know, no raffle tickets were given out last night. A couple of people emailed, as usual, for the raffle tickets who clearly didn't watch the show because they just raffle it. They emailed in anyway, you know, not knowing that something had gone wrong. So you're not watching, are you? You're just automatically sending your emails in. I mean, for God's sake, man, dear. Honestly. So no raffle tickets went out at all last night, and the emails as well, the ones that I've responded to so far, informed you of this thing as well. So no raffle tickets at all went out last night. That wasn't my fault last night. It wasn't the fact that my show wasn't getting to YouTube. According to my nephew, Gary, he actually watches quite a few different other live streams other than mine, and other people do the Mixed Mowers. I know he's involved in that one, and he used to watch Roy the Boy and various other people, and he said that he flicked across to the others and they all went down. So it was something to do with the YouTube player last night and nothing to do with me. All right, that's very unusual. That's never happened before. But one of those things, unfortunately, out of our hands, can't control it, just the way it is. All right. So that's it. I watched that last night. What did I say? I put the breakfast thing on this morning. Oh God! And I turned the telly on. I'm sorry. I keep saying this. It's the last thing you want to hear when you turn on the telly in this morning. Is that about someone being murdered, or something like that? And I put this telly on. And I thought, oh God, I can't bear it. You know, first thing in the morning, I want something happy. Anyway, they were talking. I mean, it's you know, not to make light of the fact that someone has been murdered. It was about the girl in Australia, the backpacker. She met someone, and they started showing videos of the last part of her life where she got in the lift with this bloke, and then she was found murdered, by this bloke. I think he's been banged up in prison or something. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't watch it long enough. I turned it over. I thought, I don't want to see this in the morning. I'm sorry. I know that you're having a hard time and what have you, but no. And then the mum comes on there and she starts crying. 8:10 in the morning. I want a bit of entertainment. I'm sorry. So I switched across to the other side, and there's two ladies on there being talked about tipping. And one of the ladies always gives a tip, and the bloke saying, how much? She said, well, if it's a delivery driver, maybe £2. And the host, he's the one from Birmingham, I think he's filling in this week. The host, he was absolutely horrible. He said, like, £2? These people are on 100 grand presenting these programmes. And he thinks £2 is too much to tip. Mate, it's not enough. What planet are you on? These TV presenters, they're like on 100, 150 grand, some of them. He's probably not far off that, to be honest. I'm sure he's not. I'd like to know how much he's getting. And he was absolutely horrified that this woman gives £2 to tip a delivery driver. When I say a delivery driver, I don't mean Hermes or DPD or the post office, not them. People that bring around pizzas and things like that. I mean, you've got to be really tight if it's, that's £16, please. And you give him the 20 and you want your change. Oh, come on. They get crap money, those boys and girls, and those little mopeds and mini motes and whatever they deliver them by bicycle, or probably some by foot in London. They get crap money. Give them a blooming tip. She gives £2, one, but the girl sitting next to her won't tip anything at all. She says, and the other one who does tip, she says, so do you mean to say, the delivery driver's outside, it's pouring with rain, he's soaking wet, and you're over a box, and you stand there and wait for your change? And she said, yes. You tight-fisted cow. How awful. Give them a blooming tip. I always tip people. I'm not doing a job where I get tipped. Now and again, very, very rare, and it's the Americans that tip you. Now and again, an American might come along to the, if you're American, you'll know exactly where I am with this. An American will come along to perhaps the karaoke night, and they will come in and put a song there, and thanks so much. And they give you a couple of quid, and it's okay, I don't take tips. No, please take it. And I'm like, no, honestly, I can't take it. And they put it down. He said, if you don't take it, we are offended. This is what we do in America, and then I'll take it. But it's very, very rare that you get tips. When someone's delivering and they're on bad wages, people in restaurants, as long as you get good service, don't get me wrong here. There's plenty of times I've been in restaurants, generally the chain ones. Something like... let me think where I've had bad service before. I've had bad service in a Harvester before. You say something, oh, we're really short-staffed. No apology. Oh, we're really short-staffed. Oh, well, you won't be getting a tip, darling. Thank you very much. Put the food down and give me the bill. And that's it. No tip for you, mate. But if you look after me, do your job. I'm not asking you to go over and above everything else that you do for everyone else. Just do your job. Then I will give you a good tip when I go to these afternoon teas. Right? They are expensive. I'll give the waiter 20 quid. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you haven't, I know some people, are unable to give 20 quid, but for Christ's sake, a couple of quid here, what's the harm? This tight old cow on ITV Breakfast this morning won't tip anyone. Oh, they do their job. Yeah, for 7 quid an hour, mate. How much are you on? Very, very tight. So I was wondering, do you tip much? How much do you tip when you go out? Say you went out for a meal. Let's say it was a cheapish meal. Say it was £15. So we say it's a £15. How much tip would you give for that? If they presented you with a bill for like $14, $16.99, something like that, right? What would you put on the table and leave? Would you just pay the £15? Say it was 15, bang on £15, okay? So you got a meal, 15 quid. What would you tip or wouldn't you tip? Do you think, oh, well, that's the job they do and they're getting paid for it as a matter of interest? That's what I'm asking you this morning. Okay? Do you tip? Because that tight cow on ITV Breakfast don't tip anything. Let's say hello to some of you this morning. Good morning to the delightful Shania Steele. Good morning, Shania. She's just woken up. She's been very busy with the latest Isle of Wight Carnival. I think she's in charge of the gender illusionist float or something like that, his dad was saying last night. He was moaning last night, weren't he, your dad? He's not happy. He's not happy. The gender illusionist float or something. I don't know what you were doing. Hello to Adam the plumber. Mick Davenport in the house. Good morning, Mick. Dr. Gregorian. Good morning, Dr. Gregorian. Hello to you, sir. Stephen Petty, good morning. Birthday wishes for you yesterday. Glad you heard them, Stephen. Hope you had a nice time yesterday. What did you do for your birthday? Anything exciting? Or nothing, maybe? Did you get a cake? I didn't get a cake this year. I nearly went out and bought myself one. Didn't get a cake this year, but it doesn't matter because I was taken to the Dorchester by actually Adam and his plumber, and they kind of bought this fruit thing which was made into a cake, which was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Good morning to George Bond. Good morning, George. Ray Reynolds in the house. Morning, Ray. Fran Green, good morning to you. Alan Wainwright. Morning, young Alan. Morning. Diane Jebb. Hello, my darling. Dr. Gregorian is offended. Where's the Queen's portrait? Well, you've been paying a lot of attention, haven't you? It's not been there for 2 weeks now, mate. You haven't been paying any attention at all, have you? Dear me. Very, very... Oh, where's my glasses? Very disappointed. Very disappointed. Very, very disappointed, Dr. Gregorian. How can you have only just noticed that, my dear? God. Hello to Claire. Good morning to Claire. I have a message saying slow mode is on. Yes, it's been on for about a week now, Claire, the slow mode. It only allows you to send a message every 30 seconds to allow me to catch up because it's just too busy for me to cope with. So we put that in place and it's kind of working a little bit there. All right. Morning to Roy Brownlow. Morning to George says YouTube was updating last night. Yeah, they were definitely doing something. It wasn't just my stream that went down. It was everyone's. Anyone who was doing a live stream went down last night. It's a shame they can't send out an email to everyone first saying we are doing work and it will go off at this time. But there you go. I suppose they're too big for that now. Good morning to Michael Palman. Morning, Michael. Alan, the world in general is not a happy place. You have to make your own happiness. Yeah, difficult sometimes, Alan. Difficult to make your own happiness sometimes, isn't it? Especially if you're on your own. It's quite difficult to make your own happiness when you're on your own. I often think about my Auntie Brenda, you know, who lost her husband, it must be about 5 years ago now, 4 or 5 years ago now, Uncle Malcolm. And she's on her own in a bungalow, a nice bungalow, very quiet and peaceful, but no one else there. You know, I do feel for Auntie Brenda sometimes. Let's have a look. Adam, the Queen has been replaced by a T-shirt. Only temporarily. I thought I'd put that up this morning. We got a few of those left. There's only about 5 left now. T-shirts waiting to be sold. Medium. There's one medium black, a couple medium white, and one large white, and one XXL white. That's a T-shirt up there. Available for £11. Okay. Luke Trott, just jumping down a little bit there. Let me just try and keep up with you, boys and girls. Okay, Claire, I will tuck a tip into your belongings next time I'm at the karaoke. No, you won't, Claire. I don't need a tip, darling. I don't need a tip, but thank you for the offer. You save your money for people who are on bad wages. I'm not on bad wages doing a karaoke night. Well, actually, funnily enough, I say that. I don't think I am. Other drag people and DJs think I am. Yeah, sometimes I only really share my wages with other people who are on the same sort of game as I am, i.e. karaoke host, DJing, that sort of thing. Sometimes I say, well, how much do you get? Because I tell them, and they say, oh, is that all? Yeah, well, I'm happy with that. You know, I'm not a greedy person. As I say, don't need to be rich. I've no interest in being rich at all. I don't see the point of it. You know, you can only spend so much. And that's it, really. You know, I don't like to make a loss at anything. You know, that's why I sell the T-shirts rather than give them away. Just want them to cover the cost. Same with the pens and everything else. Just want them to try. They don't cover the cost, but, you know, nearly. I've no interest in being rich at all. Don't see the point of having billions and billions of pounds sitting in the bank. You know, just the numbers going up. What is all that about? I don't know. Mikey Mike, I don't tip as a matter of course. I will only tip if I feel that I've received a good service, which is fair enough. Alan Wainwright, when I was a coach driver, we used to have to declare any tips to the tax man as they are taxable. If you didn't do that, the tax people would estimate what you've been given and tax you accordingly. Yes, that is the case in the United States, I believe. I don't know if we've got any Americans here today, but certainly it is assumed by the United States. Now, what are they called? There's a name for them. They don't call them the revenue. The IRS. The IRS, isn't it? The IRS in the States. The IRS assumes in certain jobs, such as restaurants, waiters, possibly hairdressers, I don't know how it works over there, certain jobs, they assume that they get a certain level of tips and tax accordingly. That's how it works over there. So that's why if you go to America, you have a meal and you don't tip, they get really irate. I mean, the first time I ever went, which was, oh my word, years and years ago, went to this place and had a pizza and I didn't tip. Well, the whole attitude of the staff changes because that's what is expected there. That's what everyone else does there. So you must tip when you go to Australia. Otherwise, you get dragged out of the restaurant and beaten up round the back. Hopefully, we'll see some YouTube videos of that. Very entertaining indeed. Claire always tips in the cafes, restaurants if service is good as well. So that's good. Fran usually tips if there's good service, welcoming. Couple of quid here and there. Good. Shania only tips her hairdresser. Oh, do you fancy him, Shania? Is it a him or a her? Shania's trying to get hold of the hairdresser. I hope they're Catholic, Shania. Don't go out with any non-Catholics. Very bad. Very bad. I'll tell the bishop. Good morning to Luke Trott. Hello to you. Hello to Nighttime Guru. We don't usually do those sort of things. That's a little bit nasty towards other people. Okay? Do watch out what you're saying there, please, Nighttime Guru. You know, sometimes it's best to say nothing if you've got nothing good to say. All right? Let me just scroll down there a little bit. Adam, you forgot to tip me for the service I provided on your birthday. Oh, have we got a tip for birthday presents now? Well, that's a new one. That's a new one, Adam. How outrageous. There we are. Good morning to Mandy. Yes, I have slowed it down, and I will still miss people, Mandy. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's have a look. Gary Butler's in the house. Good morning, Gary. There's nephew Gary Butler. A very good morning to Gary. Why is there a tea bag there? Wants to know George Bonds. I just thought I'd show you this. This is the tea I ordered the other day, which I told you about. Yeah, there it is. Tea. £10 off Amazon, that lot. I thought that was a good buy. I mentioned it the other day, so that's why I've bought this up to show you. That's what arrives if you ordered. It's not tea bags, actually. It's tea leaves. I don't use tea leaves. I've got a little pot downstairs. I've got a few pots downstairs, actually. I've got a very large one, which I use in the morning. And I get about 2.5 large mugs of tea. By the time I finish the show, I run in that toilet when the final film's running. Because as the show gets on, I get more and more desperate to go to the toilet to go and have a wee. Seriously, I have a great big pot of tea in the morning, which usually fills up two very large mugs. About 2.5 large mugs. That's what I have in the morning. And I make it with tea leaves. I use tea leaves. PG Tips, which I've kind of taken a liking to. I like Harrods number 14 English breakfast tea, but I haven't been to Harrods for ages now. So haven't got any of that left. You can order it, but, you know, I like to go to the shop for food and that sort of thing. So that's why that is, George. You probably have tea bags yourself, do you? Do you use tea bags? Do you use tea bags or do you use just tea leaves? What do you use? Very few people, I think, use a teapot. I reckon Claire probably uses a teapot. Do you? Does Claire use a teapot? Do you use a teapot, Claire? I bet you do. I can't believe you use tea bags. Twinings is nice as well. Twinings tea. That's quite nice. Alan says, I think my happy place is in a bottle, but I'm going for treatment soon, thank God. Oh, have you got a little problem with the old bottle there? Yeah, go and see if you can do something with that. You know, it's not always easy if you're a little bit of an alcohol fan, like giving up smoking. I do understand. I've known many people who have a little bit of a problem with the bottle, but good luck with that. Seriously, good luck with that. Not easy to deal with. Not easy to deal with. Let's have a look. Good morning, Gavin Bass. Welcome to the show, Gavin. There's Michael Lawrence. Morning, Michael. You're chatting to each other there. That's good. Let me just scrolling. Rawhide. Scrolling. Excellent. Just talking to each other there. George, I don't drink tea that often. Hot chocolate. Oh, wow. Oh, let me tell you, hot chocolate. Gary, who's my nephew, he's up there at the moment. His wife makes hot chocolate. It is absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. She puts literally bars of Cadbury Dairy's milk, and I think some of the powder stuff in this thing with cream and all sorts in the slow cooker. Oh, it's delicious. Oh, you can only have one cup. Any more than one is too much. Once you get on it, I can't drink any more of that. But that first mug is not big mugs either. Normal size mugs. I've got one up here. Absolutely delicious. Roy Brownlow doesn't like tea or coffee either. Michael Lawrence likes hot chocolate. Yes. Get it in powder form, don't you? There's all sorts of different ones. Very, very tasty indeed. Thank you very much. Good. All righty. So there's our tips one this morning. Talking about tips. Here's another question for you this morning. What is your best or worst ever purchase? What is the best thing or perhaps the worst thing you've ever bought? Again, I saw this mentioned this morning on ITV Breakfast. And they were just talking about that. I can't remember what their best or worst ever purchases were. I think the best ever thing I ever bought, which I didn't kind of buy, it was more rented, because I buy cars on rent, was my Land Rover Defender. I have three of them. Not recently. I'm going back here 20 years. Great big. They're not massive cars, Defenders. The Defender Land Rover is the old square one. It's the old square one. Looks like an army thing, but they're brand new, like, shiny paint and wheels and all that. I think that was probably my best ever purchase. The first one, big red thing it was. Oh, I love that car, and I named it Bessie after the yellow car in Doctor Who, because they called that one Bessie as well, didn't they? The yellow car in Doctor Who. I loved that car, but it was so expensive to run. 20, when would have been the first one? Actually, it's probably even longer ago than that. I think I was 32, 35, let's say 35, 45, 55. Got to be over 25, got to be about 25 years ago. And then, even then, I was putting £100 a week of diesel in it. £100 a week. God knows what it would cost now to run. But it was just so expensive to run. It really was. However, I stuck with the brand, and when you rent a car, because it's a tax deductible item for me. I was working every night, therefore I could claim the whole amount back on tax. That's how I did it. All perfectly legal, nothing wrong with that. And the same with the fuel. You could claim the fuel back because you were using it to travel to and from work. And as I worked every night, they couldn't say, well, hang on a minute, you only work 4 nights a week. Therefore, for 3 nights, you can't claim, so you can only claim a certain percentage. No, I could claim the whole lot back because I was working every single night of the week. I was a devil for work. I couldn't stop working. I was seriously a workaholic. I should have seen someone about that, perhaps. But I absolutely loved it. And this thing wasn't particularly fast. I say that I got one speeding ticket when I had Land Rovers, and that was going down to Wales for someone's funeral. Down to Llanelli, I think it was called. Lovely little funeral, lovely little cemetery it was, actually. And I got done just after Cardiff. There's a camera on the gantry there. One of those things. But I love that car, and it was noisy. It was like a plane. Yeah, like that. I loved it, and you really had to drive that thing. There was no flicking the gear stick with a finger. You had to push that thing in. and up and down on the clutch pedal all the time because it wasn't an automatic. That was my best ever purchase, the best thing I ever bought, I think. What was yours? Well, I'm just trying to think what my worst ever purchase was. Also a car. That was also a car, and I'm going back here to the 80s, around about 1985. It was an FSO Polonaise from Poland. Oh, the trouble I had with that car from brand new. Brand new, it cost £4,000, which was a considerable amount of money in those days, although not as much as a Ford or something else. It was a foreign car. £4,000 off a brand new car. Wow. So I bought it. What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. It kept choking up. And it would go into the garage. I say, oh, we've cleaned the carburettor. It should be all right now. And then you'd get it home and it would be doing the same thing again. Absolute nightmare. And I sold that before I finished paying for it. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. It was a nice car. It was warm. It was dry inside. But in a bit of traffic, it would start choking up. Absolute nightmare. Nightmare. So that was my worst ever purchase. Let's see what you're saying. Good morning to Rachel's joining us this morning. Morning to you, Rachel. Welcome to our little show. Let's see. Did I see something about tea there? Did I see something about... There's Clee. Oh, Claire. Not Clee. Claire. There's Claire. Oh, she does use tea bags. I do not use tea bags. I knew it. I knew Claire wouldn't use tea bags because Claire's posh. She's very posh. I don't know what she's doing here hanging around with you lot, but she is very posh, Claire. I do not... oh, no, hang on a minute. I do... I'm not reading this properly, am I? No, I do use tea bags. I like peppermint, chamomile, Earl Grey, etc. Not my thing, those teas, Claire. No. To me, tea has to be black tea. That's it. No alternatives. Black tea only. Starbucks do a decent cup of tea. That is tea bags, I know. Not very good for the environment. I think they're made of plastic, the tea bags there, aren't they? Huh? But none of those for me, Claire. Earl Grey, no, I don't like perfume tea. So perhaps we won't be able to go out for that afternoon tea after all, Claire. You know, we're very, very different with the tea eating. I mean, I don't know what you're like with the sandwiches, Claire. I mean, would you eat them daintily like me? Or would you just shove them all in your mouth? Rachel, yes, no, there was nothing wrong here. It was a YouTube. They were doing an update and they didn't tell anyone. Everyone's live stream that was live streaming went down, unfortunately. Gary told me that because he follows quite a few different live streams there. All right. Georgia's got a coffee machine. Yeah, well, coffee machines. I mean, you can spell an absolute fortune on coffee machines, can't you? An absolute fortune. And these things are coffee machines. There's a good subject. Coffee machines. Now, in the days of your mum and dad's, there were no coffee machines. I don't know anyone that had a coffee machine when I was younger. Sort of when I was a child. Or a young adult even. And then suddenly they started appearing, didn't they? First of all in the posh shops. I mean, I remember this place in Kingston, actually. Kingston in Surrey. And it was down the main road. And we used to go shopping in Kingston on a Saturday morning. And we'd be walking down this road. And then as we got, not right outside it, but you could smell it. You could smell the coffee coming out of this coffee shop. Now, these were the days before any of the big brands, the Starbucks, the Costa Coffee, all the other ones. It was before that. And this coffee place, as you were approaching it, the smell of the coffee was absolutely delicious. I don't know if this place is still there. You do not smell coffee when you're going past Costa Coffee, Starbucks. What's the other one? There's quite a few different chains of coffee. Is it Brown Bag? Is that one of them as well? I don't know. When you go past a BP's petrol station, they've got coffee machines. Can you smell coffee? No. You don't smell it. But this particular place in Kingston, I'm going back here to the 1970s, early 80s, you'd be coming down this road and you would be blown away by this beautiful smell of coffee coming down the road. And as you got closer and closer to it, you know, it got stronger and stronger and stronger. And then there you were outside it. and it had like this tube coming out of the top of the window that seemed to be ejecting steam and stuff out. And that's where the smell was coming from. Oh, God, it was delicious. Now, I don't like coffee. Funnily enough, I don't like coffee. So it's bitter. Bitter. Possibly like some of the people listening to this show at the moment. It's bitter. Absolutely bitter coffee. I don't like it. Put sugar in it, makes no difference at all. In America, last time I went to America, to Vegas, I took my nephew to Vegas, and in the morning we went out to breakfast. And we went to this, we had some vouchers for one of the chain sandwich shops. You know, I think it was Subway or somewhere like that. I can't remember now. So we went in there and ordered my sandwich, and I'll have a tea, please. Oh, we don't do tea. Got coffee? Oh, what else have you got? And he pointed to the cold drinks thing, you know, fizzy drinks. Oh, not in the morning. I know people that drink Coca-Cola or lemonade or Pepsi in the morning. Oh, no. No, thank you. Got to have a strong cup of tea. Very strong cup of tea, please. Thank you very much. But they didn't do tea. He said, do you want a coffee? I said, oh, yeah, okay, then I'll have a coffee. All right, I'll put some sugar in it then, or something like that. Okay. I don't put sugar in my tea. So I've come back to my little table there. There's my nephew. I think he had a can of lemonade or something like that. And we eating our sandwich. I took a sip of the coffee. Oh, it was vile. I can't stand the taste of coffee. Horrible stuff. And this stuff cost a fortune. Well, it does over here. It wasn't particularly expensive in the States, in Vegas. And I put one sugar in. Nope, still tasted vile. Put another sugar in. Nope, still tasted vile. But now, to me, it tasted vile and sugary at the same time. Two tastes which I don't like. But I think I forced myself to finish it because there was nothing else to drink other than getting a bottle of boring plain water, which the doctor says you have to have so many litres of that a day. God knows how, because you just spend the entire time in the toilet, don't you? Huh? Anyway, going back to this coffee shop in Kingston, and we used to come past there, and Mum and Dad, I don't think we ever went in there. I don't think we ever went in this particular shop in Kingston. And we would just stand there, and in the shop window were all these coffee beans, different types of coffee beans, and the little scoop thing that you would, I suppose you went in there and bought some coffee beans to take home or something like that. And I think that, yes, it's coming back to me now. I can see they had a grinder in there as well. So you'd go in there and buy these coffee beans, all from different parts of the world. Oh, it's wonderful, wonderful. And they'd scoop some out, put it in the machine, as it was grinding these machines, these coffee beans down. And then the bloke would put it, I think it was a lady in there, she'd put it in a little bag, little paper bag, no plastic, a little paper bag, seal the top, and you pay your money and be out the door with it. Lovely. And this smell that come out of there, I can't tell you how gorgeous that coffee was. But in those days, no one had a coffee machine. I don't know anyone that had a coffee machine. And then they started appearing, didn't they, George? Coffee machines started appearing, mainly in the posh department stores. It probably started in sort of places like Harrods and Selfridges, probably Selfridges first, because they always seem to be first with stuff, don't they? If you ever believe that Mr. Selfridge programme. Do you remember that excellent programme on, was that on ITV, that one? I can't remember. Mr. Selfridge. I love that. I started watching, I never saw it first time around, you see. I think I picked it up on possibly Netflix or something like that. It might have been on I'm sure I watched it on Netflix. I don't think it was on that ITV hub thing. I'm sure it was Netflix. I watched it on a couple of years ago now. I started watching it. Well, I couldn't stop. It's one of the things, and I watched like 2 episodes a day, and I think there were 5 series altogether, weren't there? A fantastic program. If you've not seen that before, do watch Mr. Selfridge in the department store and all that wonderful. And I would imagine that they were the first people to have coffee machines. I would imagine that, yeah, somewhere like that. And eventually, they started rolling them out, and you get them in places like John Lewis and Beale's. Terrible, sad news about Beale's, isn't it? They're all closing. Beale's, they've run out of money. I must say, I went into the Beale's in Skegness a little while ago, And I walked around and I thought, you're in serious trouble here. You just walked around and you knew it was in trouble. Nothing had been done. You know, the paint looked really tired. There were holes, not holes, but tiles missing from the floor. And I could see, and I went up to use the toilet on the top floor. This is Bill's in Skegness. And as I walked through the furniture department, not one single customer. That was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I knew they were in trouble then. And then a few months later, it was announced that they were in serious trouble. So we've lost Bill's now, you know. But nevertheless, the coffee machines would appear in places like that. John Lewis, Bill's, Bentall's, I suppose, somewhere like that. What's the other one? Bentall's begins with F. Phoenix, somewhere like that. Phoenix. Possibly then Debenhams. And now we have them in all the other little shops, the other chain shops, like, you know, the big electrical one. What's that called? Curry's. The big electrical. They've got them in there now. Rows and rows of coffee machines. And you buy one of these coffee machines, and you put the beans in, I suppose, or the powder in a little paper filter or something like that. Don't you? You switch it on, and this thing whirs into action, doesn't it? As it's doing its job. I don't get coughs like that. And then it's starting. And then you turn a tap on the end, and a little drip comes out, and that's your coffee. All that effort. My mum used to just boil a kettle of water and pour it onto some powder. Did exactly the same thing. You can spend several £100 on a coffee machine to do the same thing as my mum used to boil a kettle of water, or not boil, but nearly very hot water, pour it onto some powder, stir it around, put a bit of milk in that, and she was happy with that. So that's coffee machines. I won't need one in this house. My mate's other half has got one. He's got one. He puts these little bits of plastic in. You get these packets of plastic and you put them in and push a button and pull down a handle. And he opens the little tap and a little bit comes out. All that effort. Oh dear. We used to like that coffee advert on the telly. Now what was that called? What was that one? Was that Gold Blend or something like that? It was like a story that went on for ages about this couple, and I think they got together or something. I can't remember now. It's some time ago now. Yeah, that might have been I think that was Nescafe, that one, or is it Brook Bond? Is that coffee? I don't know. I don't know anything about coffee. Which means that if you ever come to my house, which is unlikely because I shan't be invited any of you lot around. But I might invite Babs round one day. But if you ever come round to my house and ask for a cup of coffee, remember, I don't drink coffee, so it's going to come out vile. Perhaps you bring yourself a flask before you come here. So that's coffee machines. Georgia's got a coffee machine. There we are. Let's have a look there. Michael, sorry. Oh, jumping down a little bit there. One moment. Let's come back up there. Where are we? Claire, I was mentioning Claire, didn't we? Oh, we've read that. These messages seem to be jumping about all over the place. Alan Wainwright says, I bet someone has got Bessie now and restored it. Well, it didn't need restoring when I bought it. Presumably, 20, 25 years takes its toll on Land Rovers. But of course, Land Rovers at that time, you could just unbolt something and put a new piece on. It was so easy, to change bulbs and things like that. And bulbs used to go a lot more when they were incandescent bulbs, weren't they, with little wires. Now they're LEDs, and I think they tend to last the life of the car, unless, like me, you reverse into something and smash the light and then end up with a bill of £560, which I still haven't booked that in. I'm trying to find someone else to do that cheaper, Just having my morning pills. Mikey Mike used to have a Capri back in the 80s, complete with a black vinyl roof. Me too, Mike. Yeah, me too. I had a transit van, actually. I had a transit van, which I wasn't using anymore because I'd moved over from doing mobile DJs to club DJs. And my ex-wife, she had a Capri, and we swapped. And I had this Capri for a period of time. I was never confident at driving it. The nose was so long. It was. I just seem to remember this about this Capri. The nose was incredibly long, and I felt a bit uncomfortable driving that, so I didn't keep it very long. I think I ended up giving that back to her, and I gave that back to her and ended up with nothing. That's just the way it goes. All right. Alan Wainwright, a Rover 3500 SDI in the 80s. Oh, yeah, was that a popular car? Alan loved the car, paid £400 for it. Can't find one now for less than £3,000. Gosh, £3,000. Wow. But it must be difficult, I would imagine, to get Rover parts now, isn't it? Would it be difficult to get those now? It's been a while since they stopped making theirs, didn't they? I remember when Rover were bought, weren't they? They were bought out, and then they started knocking down the price of their cars really cheap. And I thought, oh, you know, if you buy one of those, are you going to still be able to get the parts for it? That's the question. Mike and Mike, my mum and dad had a coffee percolator you put on the stove. Yeah. Funny. Was that a funny shaped thing, Mike? Coffee percolator. Hang on a minute. I'm just trying to think now what that looks like. I can't remember what coffee percolator looks like. Has it got a plunger on the top? Some sort of thing that you push down like that. I can't remember coffee percolator. I do know coffee percolators, yes. Mandy loves the smell of coffee. Can't stand to drink it though. You're the same as me, Mandy. You're exactly the same as me, darling. Are you teetotal? I'm teetotal, I am. I absolutely love the smell of coffee, but it's just so bitter. It really is. Mandy, the only thing lemonade is good for is in the morning is a hangover. I think you're right. Spud you like in Kingston, Gary? Did my mum take you there? My mum, of course, would be Gary's nan. You see? When she was alive. She probably took you there. And Spud you like. Yeah, Dad and Mum, they'd always stop in Kingston for a Spud you like jacket potato. I went in there a couple of times. I had beans on there. Good morning to Jack Matthews. Morning to you, Jack. Welcome to the show. Why does that jump down like that? It's so annoying. Talking about computer games there with my nephew there. Wonder Woman has got one. I think that's it. A Tassimos. That's right. I think that's what the machine's called, a Tassimos. He buys these little pods. They're called pods, aren't they? I remember now. Pods. And he slots it in the machine and it makes all this noise and a tiny bit of coffee comes out. Not like... I found the thing hilarious. Watching this thing going to work to produce such a tiny amount of liquid. It reminds me of something else, to be honest. Morning, Colin Coates. Welcome to the show. Ray Reynolds, Mum and Dad had a Skoda. Mum sold it at a car boot sale. What, the entire car? That's not the idea of a car boot sale. You're not supposed to actually sell the car, Ray. Just what's in the boot. How did she manage that? Must have got a good offer, I suppose. Claire's partner had a Capri when she first met him 35 years ago. Happy days. Absolutely, yeah. I liked it, but I found it difficult to drive, that Capri. It was such a long nose on there. Really was. Morning to Steph Diamond. Welcome to the show, Steph. The gear stick on the Skoda, sir, used to come off in your hand like a kid's toy. Oh, that's dangerous, isn't it? Literally, the gear stick came off in your hand. Very dangerous. Mick had a 3-litre Capri, black, but I had to put concrete slab in the boot because they'd be very light at the back. Depends out. Was you a bit of a boy racer then, Mick? Were you a tearaway? That's why it slid at the back, because you're going too fast. We all went fast when we were younger, weren't we? You know. Oh, yeah, I was the same. You know, what speed limit? You know, now I'm a slow driver now. I think it's a young man thing. Oh, Mandy doesn't drink tea. Okay, I thought you might have been teetotal there, Mandy. Didn't know that. Gary used to go to Spud You Like on a Saturday. And the cafe in Millets, that's right. That's right. Again, in Kingston, there was a cafe at the back of Millets. And when my father died, for a little while, not a long while, because I found out I just, you know, and I wish I'd carried on doing it, but it's just one of those things, I think. I would meet my mum on a Tuesday, I think it was, and take her shopping to Kingston. And we did that for just a few weeks until I realised I just couldn't do it, fit it in with work and stuff like that. And I should have tried to keep that going somehow, but I didn't. Anyway, I used to take mum to shopping to Kingston, and then for lunch we'd go in the back of Millet's Cafe. And at the time, Gary, you'll be pleased to know I was eating dead animals at the time. Always had the same thing, minced beef and onion pie. Minced beef and onion pie, very tasty, in the back of Millet's in Kingston. Is that still there? I don't know if that's still there or not. Yeah, used to go on a Saturday, that's right. Tassimo, so I think it's called Tassimo, that coffee machine that she's got there. Fantastic. Percolator, it's like a pot that would push the hot water through a tube, yes, through the top, which then flowed over the coffee granules. I remember those. I think we might have had one of those. I think Mum might have had one of those. I can't remember now. Can't remember. Chris, tonight you can sing Barry as I'm away for the weekend. Oh, I won't bother then. I only see it to upset you and young Mick. I only sing Barry Manilow to upset people. Yeah, I wouldn't do it to entertain you. Why would I want to entertain you? Sit here every morning doing that. Thank you. There you go. Mick was a tearaway. I thought you might have been. I did Coventry to Skegness in 1.5 hours. Jesus. We all did that though, Mick, didn't we? When we were younger, tearing away. I think sometimes I've got to say, I see people my age, usually in posh cars, you know, like BMWs and that, and they're still doing it. I think, you sad man. Slow down, mate. You should have learnt by now that speed kills. We all know it does. Let's be honest about it. Speed kills. You know it does. You know it does. Michael, Mandy, Chris has to save Barry Manilow just for you, Mick and Trevor. Absolutely. There's no Barry Manilow tonight, I'm afraid, if you're not going to be there. Pointless. Alan Wainwright. Hot dog and an instant coffee at the ABC's Saturday morning picture show in the 1970s. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right. So that's what else have we got here? Oh, I found out last night, as I finished the show last night, I had a message from Babs. She does the show, also known as Michelle. She's known as Michelle on BBC Berkshire, and they played out another one of my clips last night. The one where I was talking about the Apple Pay, you know, and I was telling her that I had Apple Pay on my phone. So that happened last night, which was nice. So must thank her for that. Good. Right, let's do some stories this morning. Tattoos. Who's got a tattoo? Anyone got a tattoo? Have you got a tattoo? Probably one or two might have my name possibly tattooed on your arm or something like that, have you? Well, in the Metro. This was actually yesterday. It was in on yesterday's Metro, and I had it in front of me, but we didn't quite get to it. So let's have a little look at this now. I wondered if you have tattoos, because one grandmother has. This lady is 59. She's only a couple of years older than me, but Mandy Jones is having the best... Don't like to use the words at this time in the morning, but it begins with S and ends in X. She is having the best X of her life, and she's got a new tattoo to celebrate it. Mandy, 59, says her life is better than in her 50s than it's ever been after meeting HGV driver Alan, who's 52. Since they started dating... I should have done this at night, this one. No, never mind. Since they started dating after a meeting online in 2007, the pair have christened every room in the house in Runcorn, Cheshire, including the greenhouse. What, with all that glass? She must like people watching her. The retired social worker and mum of 3 had almost given up on love after getting divorced twice, once in 1992 and once in 2006. She decided to give dating sites a go and went on a bunch of meetups before meeting Andrew, which helped her to discover her naughty side. Have you got a naughty side? I bet you have. I can see a few people on there that I reckon have a naughty side. I can't mention your names, no. I've got an idea who's naughty and who isn't on this chat box this morning. And some of you silent viewers as well. And don't forget, I know you're there. Some of you are very naughty, aren't you? Yes, I know. She decided to give dating sites a go and went on a bunch of meetups before meeting Andrew, who helped discover her naughty side. To celebrate her ex-drive, Mandy has had a naughty angel tattooed on her bum cheek at 57. Was it 57 or 59? A tattoo at 59, come on. It's like this, some of these beautiful young lads, sort of 25, 35, and they have these tattoos. And they're all right until about 48, 49, 50. And then they start looking a bit, oh dear, they don't look good, do they? Look, I mean, like Justin, what's his name? Singer boy. Justin, why has his name gone out of my head? I'm thinking Justin Styles. I've confused him. Yeah, there are two of them, isn't there? Justin Bieber and Harry Styles. They look good in those tattoos, don't they? You must admit. But when they get to 60, they start to, they just don't look so good. And I'm not sure that someone, it's up to her, of course. If you've got if you want a tattoo and you're 70 years old, by all means, go ahead. But I don't think it's going to look very good. The retired social worker, a mum of two, had almost given up on love. Oh, I've read that bit. She's had a naughty angel tattoo on her bum cheek. That's probably hanging on the floor by now, isn't it, my love? Since the age of 50, I've finally become a sexual woman, said Mandy. When Andrew and I met, he said he wanted me to have the most and the best I'd ever dreamt about in my life. Now I'm doing things... Oh, no, there's a picture! Oh, God, I've just seen her picture. This is in the Metro. Oh, no, I'm going to tweet that. You'll have to look at my Twitter if you want to see that. Twitter.com/Chris Reardon UK. That's where my Twitter is, okay? Let's just tweet that. 1 minute. Let's just tweet that and then you can have a look at it if you want. You don't need to have Twitter to be able to see my feed because everything I do is public. I don't sort of have any secret... what do you call it? Secret, non-public things. Everything I do is public. Have a look at that. I've tweeted the story right at the top of my Twitter. My Twitter is Chris Reardon UK. All right, so twitter.com/Chris Reardon UK. And I've tweeted that there. Grandma gets angel tattooed on her bum. Have a look at. I've just seen the picture. I can't look again, can I? Shall I look again? Oh no, dear. No, it's not. It's got the cellulite, dear. I mean, I've got the cellulite as well. So I'm going to close that picture down there immediately. I can't look at that anymore. But good on her. If she wants to do that, good on her. That's what I say. Where are we now? Let's have a look. Fran wants one, but not yet. As in a tattoo, Fran. What would you have? I'd probably have Mum and Dad, and then my son's name, Lee. Two tattoos. I think here, somewhere here. But I'm starting to sag a little bit here. I don't think it would look very good now. It's all very well on a young person with tight skin. And we all would like to look like a young person with tight skin now. But once it's gone, and that's it. And you don't want to go and start having surgery and having implants and all that sort of thing. These people that have bum implant. Have you seen people that have bum implants? Apparently very painful to sit on. Or at least uncomfortable. Dear. I'd rather sit on a bit of fat, wouldn't you? I feel quite nice. It's a bit hard sometimes on the church pew seats, as you well know. Rachel has one. Had it done when I was around 17 and regretted it ever since. Is it a name, Rachel? Is it a name by any chance? Is it a name? You don't have to say who. Don't say who. Mikey Mike has got a tattoo of a swallow on each of his arms. Had them done in 1979 and they haven't faded. And it's not so much the fading, Mike. It's when you sort of, your body starts to sort of flab out a bit, you know? And I don't necessarily mean you've got fat. It just, your skin changes and it's not tight anymore. And then it just doesn't look right. I've seen it before. Jack has got two. Jack has got three. Two left upper arms and one on the other. Yeah. They seem to look all right on old rockers, though. Do you know what I mean by that? Old rockers, like people who go around, like the lads and the girls who have got the leather jackets and they go around on motorbikes and that sort of thing. When you see them with tattoos, it kind of works. But like pretty boys, a bit like myself, to be honest, pretty boys like Justin Bieber, Harry Styles. Who's the guy and the lad who left One Direction? Oh, I can't remember. Him as well. They're kind of pretty boys, and I'm not so sure that that's going to look so good on them. If you've got the whole look, it doesn't matter what age you are. I think it kind of fits. And actually, come to think of it, that lady who I was just seeing her, she does have the whole look that a tattoo would sort of suit her, you know. Mandy's got 38 tattoos and still wants more. There we go. Quite a few of you have got them. I wanted them, but I didn't want to put up with the pain. I went out with someone. Ashley, his name was, in Brighton. And he had a few tattoos and he was having one done on his leg. He said, you can come if you want. So I did. Went round to this tattoo place, which is actually quite close to Brighton Beach. And he's laying there. He went first and I went along later. And he's laying there, face down and on a pillow. So, all right, Ash. And he looked up. I could see the tears in his eyes, you know, through the pain. And I thought, why would you want to put yourself through it? It really looked painful. He was biting this pillow while this tattoo thing was being done on his leg. Awful. Awful. No, I wouldn't want any of that. I don't think I could do with the pain. Sean. Hello, Sean. Good morning, Sean. Oh, incidentally, Sean has now resigned from head of security on this channel. Mandy is now head of security. Mandy will be dishing out punishment and pain and suffering in future. Thank you very much, Mandy, for taking the job on. Sean says, a friend of mine has a tattoo just above his bum cheek saying exit only. Oh, how awful. Oh, dreadful. Yeah, where is it the most painful, Mandy? I would imagine that would be up here somewhere, would it? Or inside, sort of the top of your leg. So between knee and, what would you say, body, just that bit there, inside or at the back there. I would imagine that'd be the most painful. There's someone who had tattoos on their eyeballs, didn't they? Oh, no, I'd be worried about losing my sight, wouldn't you? Mandy, I didn't feel any pain with any of mine. Mandy didn't feel the pain. Oh, she's strong, Mandy. Perfect person to look after the security on this channel. Mandy didn't feel pain in any of them. Look at that. Good morning to John Aitken. Morning, John. Morning to you, young John. It is a name, is it, Rachel? Yeah, I had a feeling it was, my love. Okay, well, we'll leave that one there, will we? It sounds a little bit painful if you to chat about. There we are. John Aitken's got 3 tattoos, one on each arm and one on his back. Did any of those hurt at all? Any of those hurt? One of your messages has been held for review, Mick. See, I don't consider that a rude word, so I have to sort of say, yes, that can appear. So there it is. There's Mick's message there if you want to read it. I had a devil on my arm with my ex's name on it. It took 3 attempts to get rid of it. John Aitken, Liam Payne is lovely. He is. He absolutely is. I don't think I've seen his tattoos. Has he got tattoos, Liam Payne? He can knock on my door any day of the week, front or back. Alan had his first tattoo last year at 54. Looks great. A bulldog with the Union Jack behind it. That sounds a good one, Alan. Thank you. And John hates throat tattoos. They make him feel sick. I should think they would do while you're having a blooming little needle going in and out your skin like that. Nasty. All right. Let's do today's raffle tickets, gang, just in case we get cut off like we did last night. There we are. Raffle tickets standing by. Oh, let's see if there's any text while I'm doing it. Oh, there's no text today. No text messages. Okay. All right. Okie doke. Anyone who wants a raffle ticket today, please speak now, and I shall give out the raffle tickets. Once again, if you were watching the show last night, we didn't get to the raffle tickets, so none were given out. So if you sent an email, you won't have got a reply to that one because we didn't give any of them out last night, okay? Fran Green, my brother, has his name tattooed all over the inside of his lip. Oh, that must have hurt. Oh, that must have hurt. Yeah. And Mandy, I've got both feet, both legs, both arms, hands across my back, across my chest and behind my ear, and no pain. Wow, you're hardcore, Mandy. The perfect person to look after the security on this channel. Don't muck about with Mandy, I'm telling you now. The husband is practically in his coffin now for the amount of beatings he's had this week, which is good news, basically. Good news. Rachel, here we go with the raffle tickets. Rachel 349. John Aitken 350. Michael Lawrence, 351. Mikey Mike, 352. Sean Pye, 353. Scrolling. Sean. Tony King, 354. Mick Davenport, 355. Mickey D. 356. 4. Oh, it's jumped again, is it? Okay, 1 minute. Did we get Tony King? Tony King, Mick D. Ross Herndon, 356. 357 for Jack Matthews. Gavin Bass, 358. Alan Wainwright, 359. Mandy Davenport, 360. Where's LaBelle today? She's not here today, is she, LaBelle? I think she was quite busy last night with a show in New York. I think she was there doing something big in New York last night. Steph Diamond, 3... Oh, these numbers have gone out of sync. 1 minute. Not that it matters. I like to try and keep them in sync. It kind of makes sense to me then. Right, where are we? 360 for Mandy Davenport. 361 for Steph Diamond. Diane Jebb, 362. Gary Butler, 363. Colin Coates, thank you, 364. Totally hardcore, that's Mandy. Hello to Battle Cute. Hello to Battle Cute. Welcome along to the show, Battle Cute. You're joining us sort of towards the end of the show, but welcome along. Do you want a raffle ticket? If you want a raffle ticket, you must say ticket, please. Otherwise, I think it's just a message. All right, my darling. Adrian Richardson, good morning to you. Michael Pullman, 365. 365 for young Michael. Fran, apparently the least painful is the outside top of the arm. Oh, what, up here? Yeah, I suppose that's why. Is that why they stick the needles in there when you get flu injections and things like that? Oh, I've got to arrange another pneumonia injection, actually. Next week I've got to arrange that. I've got dinner out next week, which I'm looking forward to. Just meeting up with my friend Matt. Why does it say Roehampton? Oh, I'm playing the organ Sunday in Roehampton as well. Looking at my calendar. I have to have a calendar. I don't know what I'm doing half the time without that calendar. I'll be lost without that calendar. Absolutely lost. Mandy, where did we get to? Mandy, 360. Michael Pullman. Was Michael the last one I got to? 365. Where's Michael Pullman's one? Where is he now? Michael Pullman, 365. Battle Cute wants a lanyard. What's a lanyard? You want a lanyard? Oh, what, you mean for me? I don't have lanyards. Is that something that might be of interest? Lanyards. I don't think they'd be very popular, lanyards. Mick is still here. I can see you there. Is Mandy going? Mandy's going to take the dog to the vets. Oh, is that like just a regular thing, or is he something wrong with him? Oh, it's horrible taking your dog to. Is it just like a booster injection or something like that? So expensive to go to the vets, isn't it? Why have a pet? It's so expensive to keep. But they are friendly, aren't they? Hello to one man and his Sprinter van. Very quietly sitting there again. 366 for you, sir. One man and Sprinter van. There you go. 366 for you. Fran Green. 367. $367 for young Fran. Thank you, Fran. Dr. Gregorian's raffle tickets to Armenia. 368. Dr. Gregorian. Dr. Gregorian, if your friend, whoever it is, I can't remember if you're with family or friends. I can never remember. I'm sorry, I'm mind like a sieve here. But if they have a YouTube account, or they set up a YouTube account and subscribe and have the notifications, they can have a raffle ticket as well. They can have one as well, so you can get yourself 2 or 3 raffle tickets. But you have to have more, one for each account, if you see what I mean. Otherwise, it gets messy, and you're never quite sure. I never allow people to ask for other people. Do you see what I mean? You've got to ask for your own raffle ticket. Heidi's there. Good morning, Heidi. Heidi's got a T-shirt now, kindly bought for her by young Sean Pye. 369 for you, Heidi. Heidi Oliver. Thank you, Heidi. Claire, 370. Claire L's on 370. Is that everyone? Is that everyone? Hang on a minute. Let me just scroll here. All right. Yeah, ask Dr. Gregorian. It might be worth. Adrian's getting a funny look in the waiting room at my foot doctor. Perhaps they don't like your programme. I don't like the doctor. Well, don't watch then. Don't watch if you don't like it. You think it bothers me? You think it bothers me if someone doesn't like me? I couldn't care less. Just carry on doing what you're doing, and someone hopefully will. I expect you hope that someone one day will enjoy the jokes that you tell in the pub, Adrian. It's not happened yet, but it may do. If just keep trying, darling. Just keep trying. John Aitken, The Professionals, ITV4. Oh, he had a big crush on Lewis Collins. Is that right? Battle Cute. Ticket number 371 for you, sir. Battle Cute. All right, raffle's on. I think you're quite new, aren't you? So the raffle is on Monday morning between 9 and 10 o'clock. Okay. Oh, we should have... that's a point. Oh, we didn't get many likes this morning. We're now holding the raffle tickets back until we get at least 20 likes. That's what we're doing now. I'm sure someone's done their thumbs down as well this morning at some point. All right. I think that's everyone's tickets now. If I've missed you out, please speak now. Okay. And I shall correct my error. All right. If I've missed you out, please speak now, my darlings. And while I'm waiting for that to come in, while I'm waiting to see if we've missed anyone out, we'll just do one more story. I usually do this bit when we do the birthdays. There's only one birthday today, though, which I'll do in a moment. But have you got one of those wood-burning fires? Now, I know a lot of people who have had these put in. I actually considered having this done a few years ago, but I decided against it because I thought, I can't be bothered. Lighting bits of wood or coal with even, you can light this thing and put the thing on. When all I have to do at the moment is push a button and miraculously heat comes on, whether it's up here or down here or up at my caravan. Well, could be bad news. In several of the papers this morning and on the telly, this is the Sun's version, sales of the most polluting fuels burnt in stoves and open fires are to be phased out from next year by the government. Plans to stop house, coal and wet wood have been confirmed to tackle tiny particle pollutants known as PM2.5, which can penetrate deep into the lungs and blood and cause serious health problems. Around 2.5 million UK homes have either wood-burning stoves or coal fires. I don't know. Have you got one of these? My sister's got one. My sister's got an open fire. So presumably that would include her as well. It says, these particulates contribute 3 times as much pollution as road transport, the environmental department said, so they're even worse than cars. You would have thought that would be like a natural thing, wouldn't you? Burning wood, but it's not. Sales of wet wood and house coal will be phased out from 2021 to 2023 in order to give householders and suppliers time to move to cleaner alternatives such as dry wood and manufactured solid fuels. These produce less smoke and pollution and are cheaper and more efficient to burn, officials have said. Environment Secretary George Eustace said open fires and wood-burning stoves are at the heart of many homes, but certain fuels mean they are the biggest source of the most harmful pollutants. So I wonder, do you have a wood-burning stone at all on there? Do you have a wood-burning stove? Moving towards the use of cleaner fuels, such as dry wood, can all play a part in improving the health of millions of people, and it's the latest step in delivering on the challenge we set ourselves in our world-leading clean air strategy. And I have to say, the governments that we've had over the last few years, I think I get the opinion, my personal opinion, that they're way ahead of many, many other countries in trying to install things to cut down on our pollution. You know, quite frankly, when you see these climate protesters, who probably are just out for a good time, to be honest, when you see all these climate protesters and people like that out in London, I think you're in the wrong place, mate. You know, you should be in China or Africa, perhaps, where they're still burning stuff. Of course, it could be argued that, well, in Africa, they don't have gas fires or gas ovens. So what are they going to cook on? I get that. But to be protesting in the country that is probably doing more than any other country in the world, cut down on things like this, I just don't get it. But nevertheless, it says sales of all bagged traditional coal will be phased out by next February, actually, and the sale of loose coal direct to customers via approved coal merchants will end by February 2023. Sales of wet wood in units of under 2 cubic meters will be restricted from sale for February 2021 to allow for existing stocks to be used up. So there we are. Very bad. It says, what's wet and dry wood? Well, I thought that was pretty obvious, but I'll read it anyway. Again, in the sun, wet wood, which is also known as green or unseasoned wood, is usually sold in nets. Oh, we've seen these at the petrol stations, haven't we? I see a lot of them out, not so much down here, but certainly in Lincolnshire I see it. It's cheaper to buy, but contains moisture, and when burnt gives off more smoke and pollution than dry wood. It's also harder to set alight and is difficult to burn. Burning wet wood can also lead to a build-up of soot and sticky creosote inside the burner. That's how you get chimney fires. Wood that hasn't dried out properly, the creosote goes up the chimney, sticks to it, and then catches alight. It's actually chimney fires are very, very common. Dry wood, and if you use dry wood, that's unlikely to happen. Dry wood has usually been dried out in a kiln and has a moisture content of 20% or less. If you're chopping your own wood to burn, it will need to be dried out for around a year in order to be classified as dry. Some types of wood, such as oak, will require longer. Pieces of wet wood will make a dull thud when knocked. Yep, definitely a wet wood on my head. While you can spot dry wood by looking for cracks, a dull colour and loose bark. The logs will also feel lighter. Dry wood is not only better for the environment, but burning, it gives off more heat, making it more efficient, while your stove will require less cleaning and maintenance. So there we are. Have you got one of those fires, I wonder? Anyone got one of those fires? Let's have a look there. Adrian Richardson, 372 for Adrian. 372 for Adrian, there we are. I still love you. I still love you as well. Thank you. Let's have a look. John would love to have a log fire. That was my job when I was a little boy, when I got home from school. What, lighting the fire? Yeah, I mean, I can't be bothered. I'd rather just push a button and be done with it. Electric or gas, I'm not that bothered. I'd rather have electric heating, but that's a little bit more expensive. Although with the air source heating, that's actually very efficient. Air source heating. Although I've got that in the caravan, not quite as good as central heating, I have to say. There are periods when it's really cold outside. We're talking ice, where the unit actually freezes up, and then you have to wait for it to thaw out. And for that time, nothing comes out. Nothing comes out. Probably work better in a house, I would imagine, something like that. Good morning to Russ Vernon. Morning to you, Russ. Morning, Russ. A little bit late. Never mind. You're there now. That's all that matters. Welcome, Russ. Jack, do you know that the Sydney Mardi Gras will be live telecast this year and on demand? Oh yeah, you can usually find that stuff on the YouTube anyway, can't you? Yeah, thank you, Jack. RV Media, Russ, raffle ticket 373. Okay, there you go, Russ. Ticket number 373. Alrighty, let's do today's birthday. There's only one birthday today. The Reverend Ted Woodruff. Good morning to you, Reverend. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday, sir. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Reverend. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Rev. Happy birthday to you, Rev. All right there. Okie doke. Now, what are you doing tonight? Anyone coming to London? If you are in North London tonight, I shall be hosting karaoke at Central Station Bar, boys and girls. It's Friday night, Central Station. Karaoke starts at 8:30 and goes through until 12 o'clock. A little bit before 12 usually, okay. 8:30 to 12 o'clock is our karaoke night. Central Station Bar, Wharfdale Road in King's Cross. Okay, lots of people wishing people happy birthday there. I just saw a little message from Rachel about a log. She had a log fire at the farmhouse before we moved into town. Yes, there's not many people that have them in town, but a few people do. Actually, the bloke who owns, I don't know how it's going to affect the bloke who owns the caravan opposite me. He's a lovely chap. He is Roland. I think it's Roland or Rowan. Can't remember his proper name now. He's got this lovely little white terrier dog. That always comes over to my caravan and he follows me into the caravan. Lovely little thing it is. He's a lovely bloke to talk to. Really nice. Anyway, he's got the caravan opposite to me up in Lincolnshire, and I know he can do all the DIY, can't he? Like my brother-in-law. Fantastic, you know. He put the hole in the roof and the chimney going up, and he was saying it really warms that caravan. So I don't know if that affects him or not, but he was saying there must have been a whirlwind in there one day because they were sitting there and the entire caravan just filled up with smoke. And he couldn't work out why it was happening because it never happened before. Said perhaps that happens if there's a certain type of wind out there that the smoke all blows back into you. I don't know. All righty. Thanks ever so much for joining us on the show today. Hopefully back with you again tomorrow morning. Tonight we'll be streaming the karaoke live if you want to watch that. If you're watching, where you're watching this now on the YouTube, right-hand corner, you should see featured channels. One of those is Karaoke London. If you just click on that and subscribe to that, and you'll be able to watch the karaoke live tonight from Central Station. We have the chat box open as well. It's totally unmoderated, so say what you like. I do try and keep an eye on it. I can't keep my eye on it all the time. But it's like, you know, free speech. And unless you're really, really offensive and nasty towards someone, you just get away with it. All right. If it's just a little row going on between people, that's none of my business. But I try and keep an eye on if anyone's really nasty or perhaps racist or something like that. We don't like that. You know, I like to treat all people equally and have a good time on the chat box. Or you can just sit there and watch. You know, plenty of silent people. Again, more silent people watching the karaoke than in the chat box, and we're fully aware that you're there. And you can join us tonight. That'll be around about 8:30. Sometimes we start a little bit earlier, sometimes a bit later. If it's not particularly busy, I might wait until a few more people come in. But generally, it's round about 8:30 we start the streaming on the Karaoke London channel. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, boys and girls. Take care, and thanks ever so much for joining us this morning. See you for another chat show tomorrow. Bye-bye.